Welcome to the Never Ending Backlog podcast, your place for short reviews from a gamer with the goal of reducing his backlog. From adventures to sandboxes, join our host as we walk through a collection of unplayed treasures. Now, let's take a look at the featured game of this episode of the Never Ending Backlog.
Hello everybody, welcome to the next episode of the Never Ending Backlog podcast. I'm your host Zach. So first and foremost, I must drop another disclaimer. For today's review, I have not followed the Alien franchise much. I know I've seen Prometheus, a few of the Alien vs. Predator movies. However, I don't know if I've seen the original Alien movies, or at least not all of them, nor all the way through. I do know the general premise of them though, so I apologize for that disservice. However, I don't have a movie backlog, so therefore I'm not reviewing those yet. One day I do promise to watch them though. With that disclaimer aside, I am reviewing Alien Isolation this week, which was part of a more recent bundle that included some AVP games, Alien games, etc., which was a terrific deal. I have always been a big fan of the Alien vs. Predator games, as I was the weirdo that liked playing the human marines in the games, as it reminded me of playing a terrific PC first-person shooter called Starship Troopers, based on the actual movie. I also really loved AVP for the PS2, which was the top-view RTS squad strategy-like game. So once again, I'm proving my oddness in these reviews. But anyways, let's jump into my review of Alien Isolation. What is it? Terrifying. No, but serious. It's an on-the-edge-of-your-seat type of game. According to Steam, discover the true meaning of fear in Alien Isolation, a survival horror set in an atmosphere of constant dread and mortal danger. 15 years after the events of Alien, Ellen Ripley's daughter, Amanda, enters a desperate battle for survival on a mission to unravel the truth behind her mother's disappearance. The genre, it is an action horror game released in 2014. The developer is Creative Assembly, Feral Interactive. The publisher was Sega and Feral Interactive. How much is it? Currently it's $39.99. According to Is There Any Deal, you could get it for $1.99 on the Humble store, which if you haven't already browsed www.humblebundle.com, I highly recommend doing so. You can actually find a link on my website as a Humble Bundle partner. You can get some terrific deals. Or, if you're on the market for a specific game, before you check out on the Steam store, check out isthereanydeal.com and see if you can get a better price. I do a lot of my shopping there. A lot of times I will end up buying from Steam because there won't be any sales, but it's a pretty good place to look. But anyway, let's get back to the game. So regarding the install and startup, it's definitely a large game. However, it installed relatively quickly and it booted right up. It actually centered on the center screen and blackened out the two side monitors, which was kind of what I was hoping for. However, in this situation, I am actually playing it in windowed mode for notes and recording purposes. However, I will try it in 5760 by 1080 mode because that's the freak inside me, since I have done that with the newer AVP game in the past. Another thing, seeing the retro 20th Century Fox startup was iconic and well done. Also, there was an intro video on the main start screen that offers a good taste of what you can expect in the game. I really liked it. I think Sega did a really great job with this. Regarding graphics, first and foremost, this game is clean. I was able to run everything on Ultra and I am glad I did. It looks much newer than a 2014 game. Seriously, it's 6 years old. You would not have guessed it. It is beautiful. Beyond just the graphics though, the menu is pristine. The initial menu screen with the play game, options, extras, etc. is subtle to not take away from the gorgeous space background. The font choice is nice. And overall, it just looks great. It's so much better than the in-your-face menu options where it's center screen and waiting for you to just bypass it. It's the detail that I think shows. As a huge fan of typography, I cannot say enough at how gorgeous their font choices were in this game. Beautiful. I was able to switch the game to 5760 by 1080 and it worked flawlessly. It didn't stretch out on the side monitors, and although the health and battery bar was on the far left monitor in the far left corner, it's hardly a complaint. Plus, I was able to run everything on Ultra with triple monitors and there was no lag. I know I do have a 2080, but still, it's really nice to see it. Regarding the audio, the music is haunting, and no doubt it's going to terrify me through this entire experience. It did. There are also a lot of sound effects, from items dropping to air vents moving, etc. Overall, be prepared to jump at the slightest sounds. I will say the most annoying sound effect in this game is beeping. Every room has a beeping noise that won't turn off, and it's excruciating. The controls are smooth, they are traditional WSAD, which is kind of what I expected. There's nothing really that seemed out of the ordinary with this game. You can use a controller as well, but I just stuck with the keyboard. For the gameplay, as mentioned earlier, you are the daughter of Ripley from the Alien franchise, and you are stranded on a space station with aliens. You spend a large majority of this game walking around and running, and being terrified that something is going to kill you, which it probably will. There are some other humans on there, and you get to learn a little bit more about them. It kind of adds to that, I'm not as scared of being alone, but you're pretty much still alone. Regarding difficulty, an hour in and I'm still walking around. I have noticed with other Alien and Predator games, it takes a bit to jump into the action. It's more or less a discovery/walking simulator until the action begins. It's not a bad thing, as the environment is gorgeous, and I'm happy to walk around. However, most walking simulators aren't that difficult. You just have to solve a few puzzles here and there. But like I said, I'm not that far into the game, so walking around is not a challenging thing. For achievements, there are 50 achievements total, and I have earned 3 so far in just over an hour of game time. So, which, with an hour of scripted game time, I think that's a fair amount. And jumping into the pros and cons. For pros, the graphics are gorgeous. It's very smooth. The movement and appearance reminds me of the game Mirror's Edge, which was a gorgeous first-person game. Overall, I think the game works great. It's well designed. There are no bugs. I didn't come across any bugs, at least. And I think the storyline is well written. I've come across a few characters and it brings the game to life, which I think is important. I think if you're stranded 100% alone on the space station, it would be terrifying. Adding a few players here and there or human bots makes it a little bit easier to adapt to it, and you learn a lot more about what happened. Regarding cons, the first and foremost, I wasn't sure originally if it was because I was overly warm and my noise-canceling super padded headphones were on, or the game's smooth movements. However, I definitely got motion sickness partially in the game. There are only a few times that's happened to me. In fact, Time Splitters 2 for the PS2 major gave me motion sickness. No Man's Sky, and apparently Alien Isolation did it as well. I'm not sure what that's about since I play higher speed first-person shooters and they don't really bother me. Games with smooth motions and higher refresh rates. Heck, I even play VR shooters and it usually doesn't impact me. I will note though, I played it again the next time and I did not have my noise canceling headphones on, and it helped tremendously. So I'll blame it on the hot headphones on my ears. It just gets warm. Another con: if you don't like jump scares, you probably won't like this game as much. This is also more of a survival than a fighter-like AVP game. So if you're hoping to overcome the jump fear aspect with a large rifle to comfort you, you're probably going to be a little disappointed. And would I recommend this? I absolutely would recommend this game. It's a terrific atmospheric survival action game. And the location is very well done. It's a clean game that I did not experience any bugs. Plus, if you have a triple monitor gaming setup, then it'll look awesome for you. The environment reminded me a lot of the Firefly Serenity series because there's a lot of Chinese accents and words, and then it's also this universal human collection of all these different religions and races all together. And I think that's pretty cool. It is definitely a horror game, so obviously it kind of ties along with this entire week's theme of horror jump games, ones I usually don't traditionally play, but I'll definitely play this one again. It does help that it's made partially by Sega, or at least as a publisher, and overall I think it worked really, really well. So yes, I definitely recommend it. For $39, I think it's actually probably still worth it. I would definitely recommend it. There is some DLCs out there you can pick up for it, but I don't have the DLCs, and I've enjoyed this very much so far. So that's my review of Alien Isolation. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Never Ending Backlog podcast, and we'll see you again soon.